Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey watching 90 Day Fiancé. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. I've been both those things for over 20 years, and I often have a lot of things to say, so let's get to the show.
Since the case was dismissed, me and Colt and Debbie, we act more like a family. But I have some things that I don't talk about my past. And I decided to say now because I'm so tired of keeping secrets.
Interesting. So, sounds like we're going to learn something about her past. I always like to learn about the cast members' past because that tells us about their present and their future. Let's continue watching.
But I'm feeling anxious about what can happen. If I say the truth.
So, Larissa, what's going on right now?
I have children in Brazil.
Whoa. That is not what I thought the secret was. She has children. That's more than one child. Wow. Let me process this for a second. So she's going to tell, because she has to, she's married. She has to tell her husband, Colt.
When you go to the store, you see something really cute, think, oh my God, there's a little kid, this could be mine.
Does Colt know that you have children?
Yes. I told to Colt about my children before I came into America, but Colt never met my children.
Oh, so the secret here is to us, not to Colt. Colt know about the kids. We just didn't know. Oh, okay. Well, then, they're free to keep secrets from us. That's their call. They can certainly keep secrets from the producers of this TV show. Okay, so take back everything I said. She told Colt before she came to the States. The two of them have presumably been talking about it. So I guess I'm just curious as to what the situation is going to look like for all of them. So it's not a secret between the two of them. It's a secret to us, which they're free to have.
Debbie, I have something to say to you.
You pregnant?
I have kids.
You have children. I need a drink. I am shocked. They haven't told me anything about it. I am so angry with her because it's our family. I need to know what's going on.
All right. So I was wondering how she was going to react. Debbie appears to be hurt fundamentally, primarily, and then she's transforming that into anger, and then she's transforming that into judgment of Larissa and Colt, that she's angry at them, and she's saying, I deserve to know, this is bullcrap. And I suspect that for Debbie, fundamentally, that she is hurt, that she just wasn't told. Secrets can be very destructive in families. Family therapists know this very well. We study this quite a bit and pay attention to it. What happened in this family was that, and from a systemic point of view, was that from the beginning, Larissa and Debbie were not close enough such that Larissa could tell her the truth and not keep a secret. And so Larissa made a call because they weren't close enough and they weren't bonded enough, which was an important step that should have happened a long time ago. And so Larissa kept this secret from her. And all that does is it just pushes the pain down the road. And now they're experiencing that pain. So if we could go back in time, we would say, let's spend some time making sure that Larissa and Debbie, their relationship is strong. And then the secret doesn't need to be there. Because to hold the secret is just postponing and building a lot of pain that's going to happen in the future. You're solving one problem right now to create 3 problems in the future. That's what secrets do to us. Not all the time, but this one did.
It was chicken her to do that. I'm sorry, but it was.
Now, one could argue that it's not necessarily Debbie's jurisdiction to know every detail about Larissa's life. So you could say, as a couple, they could say, look, we just didn't want to tell you. We didn't want to tell anyone. We didn't want to tell the television crew. So we're sorry we didn't tell you, but we just wanted it to be a little secret, and we wanted to tell you in our own time. We knew eventually we were going to tell you, and we know it was hurtful to you, but we wanted to create our own insular thing, and we made our decision, and we're sorry that it hurt you. And then Debbie could say something like, well, they're not going to tell me everything. It's their relationship. What do I know? Yeah, that's one way to look at it. But at the very least, what I'd like to see is Colt, because it's really Colt's responsibility here. He made the choice to withhold information from his mom. Now, you could argue that it was fine for him to do that, to have boundaries or whatever. But this isn't Larissa's responsibility to apologize. The primary relationship with Debbie is Colt, and so we haven't seen him say anything. And that's typical of him to do, as he tends to avoid conflict. What I would look for from him is for him to go to his mom and say, I'm so sorry that I didn't tell you. It's my fault. Don't blame Larissa. We talked about it, and I don't know. We just didn't want to tell anyone. We didn't tell the television crew, and we're sorry. And I'm sorry that I didn't say. I hope you can forgive me. And I know that you're angry. I know that you're hurt, and that makes sense to me. But we didn't really know what to say. We were worried you're going to be upset, and maybe it was the wrong call. Something along those lines. But we'll see what Colt does here.
I'm a little disappointed that you guys didn't tell me. It hurt me because no one had discussed it with me. Bring me in the conversation.
I always wanted to tell you, but it's a complicated situation.
All right, so Debbie starts off pretty well. She was angry, and now she's thinking, okay, I need to go to my primary feelings, and so she says, I was hurt. And what I'd like to see is Colt to say, okay, Mom, this is between you and me. Larissa, she and I made this choice, so talk to me about it. Larissa, don't talk to my mom right now. Mom, I let you down, and I apologize, and I'm sorry it hurts your feelings. I still stand by the decision because of the following reasons, but I understand that you're hurt, and I'm sorry. But remember, Mom, this is between you and me, not between you and Larissa. We'll see what happens here.
On the beginning, we don't get along. So every time that I see the way that you take care of Colt, everything, I thought, how will you explain to you that I have kids in Brazil? I was afraid.
So 2 thumbs up for both of them. Debbie, she says her primary feeling is hurt. She's entitled to that. Makes sense that she's hurt. For Larissa, the primary feeling is fear. I was afraid. Beautiful. That's always the primary feelings. Hurt and fear. We transform that into anger, and then in judgment and all sorts of bad things. Distance, withdrawal. And for Larissa, she's saying, I was afraid. I was afraid of judgment. That's why I did it. That's going to provoke so much more empathy from Debbie. She's like, oh, I wasn't being lied to because you all hate me. I wasn't being lied to because y'all are evil and that you're against me and that you're an immoral, horrible, lying human being. But you were afraid. And I can understand that. And maybe I'm to blame partially for creating a relationship with you that made you feel afraid, that resulted in you feeling like you needed to lie. Then we can begin to heal. Then we can begin to not have to do these things in the future. Then we can begin to apologize. I'm sorry for making you feel afraid. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for lying to you. It makes sense that you're hurt. I'm sorry for that. Let's see where this goes.
I love Colt, so what his mother that did everything for him will think about it.
When Larissa told me the way she felt about me, I understood why she didn't tell me about having children. She was scared, and I don't think she trusted anybody.
Awesome. Awesome sauce. So she heard it. The mom heard it. She heard she was afraid. She was alone. She didn't know what to say. And that's why she withheld. She's not an evil B word who is trying to deceive me, and she's against me. She is a human being. Larissa is a human being who has feelings. She was scared. She didn't know what to say. And that's why she withheld the information from me. So, awesome. 2 thumbs up. I did not predict that they would be able to do this well. This is great. It's great.
She told me initially everything. I didn't feel like it was the right thing to tell you at the time. I'm sorry.
So
No.
it was really hard, Debbie. I need to say the truth for you.
I understand the situation. I really do. I understand that it's really, really hard. But in the future, anything like this, talk to me about it, okay? Because that'll wreck our relationship again.
All right. So the mom is saying, hey, tell me in advance or it'll wreck our relationship. I think a more fundamental message would be, think about my feelings because that really hurt. And I don't want to be hurt. And when I get hurt, I get upset with you. And I don't want that to happen. I think that would be more fundamental because the way Debbie just said it, it comes across as like, you better tell me everything or else, which of course isn't really her jurisdiction. Larissa can keep things from her mother-in-law if she wants to, depending. But I'm not going to criticize. There's a wonderful interaction. Great to see. They did it perfectly. I was hurt. I was afraid. 2 thumbs up. Hey, deserving listeners, as you know, I'm constantly recommending that people go to therapy. We all need therapy from time to time. One of the options available that is definitely worth checking out is BetterHelp.com. So if you're looking for a therapist, I would give it a try by going to BetterHelp.com/Kirk. Make sure you use the /Kirk because you get 10% off your first month and it helps us out. I get a lot of emails from you saying that you're looking for a therapist. As you watch these videos, I know many of you have been motivated to find your own therapist, but I know it can be really hard to find a good one to work with. Like I said, one of the options available to try is BetterHelp.com/Kirk. And you should know that this service is available to clients worldwide, which is amazing. I've been told that you can start communicating with your therapist in under 24 hours. You can message with your counselor anytime. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. And I've been told that it's often less expensive than in-person therapy. So go to BetterHelp.com/Kirk to get 10% off your first month of therapy today.
For my mother, Larissa is a stranger from a different culture. And having children would have just made everything more confusing for her. And I was afraid that my mother might think that Larissa and I wouldn't be a very good match.
You knew all along?
Yeah, I knew all along. I had to know because of the K-1 visa. I needed to know all of the details of her life.
I think you should have included me in that before you got married, before she got over here. You should have told me. I feel like I'm not important or something. I don't know why you...
Good. So I'm sad for her, but she's communicating it very directly. She's saying, the fact that you didn't tell me makes me feel unimportant. Makes me feel like I don't matter. So I think this is a really important conversation for the two of them to have because as Colt transitions into having a family of his own, the mom is going to be less important, probably, at least in Colt's life, especially if the kids come up to the United States. Colt's going to be occupied with wife and kids, and there's not going to be a lot of capacity for him to take care of his mom. And so this is an important conversation. They're going through a transition. As family therapists, we're always interested in these transition periods, these moments where there's a before and then an after. What do you do during that time to set up the after for success? There's a lot of tasks that need to happen that Colt and Debbie's relationship has to be negotiated to a new place so that they can have closeness within reason and understand the new landscape. For Debbie, she isn't getting a family. She's not getting a husband and a bunch of kids or 2 kids. She is just losing Colt. So for Debbie, she has to adjust and say, okay, well, who else can I get in my life to get my attachment needs met? For Colt, he needs to say, okay, I now have to shift my attention to Larissa, the kids, while keeping a connection with Debbie, keeping her involved somehow, because I want that, if he wants that. I think he does. And negotiating that. And this is part of that conversation. I don't know if they know that, but they are kind of talking about that because Debbie is saying, I thought you told me everything. That's kind of the implication. I thought a rule in our relationship was you told me about big things like that. And Colt is now, through this action of having kept this information from her, saying, that rule no longer applies here because I'm transitioning to a new thing. Now, what family therapists can do is we can bring this up very explicitly. What a lot of families will do is they'll negotiate this implicitly. It's very underground and subtle, and that leaves a lot of opportunity for people misunderstanding. For Debbie, it's possible for her to interpret this as, I'm just being rejected. I'm being treated unfairly. This feels bad to me. I don't like it. And unless I fight for Colt's love and loyalty, I'm going to lose him completely. But I'm guessing Colt, that's not how he feels about it. He's just like, look, me and Larissa made this choice, and I wanted to respect that. And also, frankly, we thought you were going to freak out, and I didn't want to overburden you. And yeah, I knew it was going to hurt your feelings, but honestly, I just thought, look, it's me and it's my business with my wife, and it's not really your business, Mom. I mean, I love you, but there's going to be some things that me and my wife are not going to tell you about, and that's just how things are going to go from now on. I know that's not how things used to be, but that's how things are going to be right now. I love you. I want you to be a part of my life, but you can't be that much part of my life anymore. Now, Mom might have problems with that. Debbie might be really hurt by that. She might have a lot of fears about that. Debbie might have some grief to feel around that, like, oh, I'm finally losing my boy. This is very sad for me. I lost my husband. Now I'm losing my son. Cry, 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 talk to therapists, talk to friends, talk to family, talk to Colt, get support. Larissa comes in, supports. There's feelings there. There's an adjustment. There's an adjustment period is the point. And it's okay that Debbie has feelings about that. How are we going to navigate that as a family? Do we just sort of ignore it? Do we just sort of heavy-handedly make those changes without considering people's feelings? Or do we take reality into consideration and help people adjust?
Why you didn't tell me?
You're very important, and I love you, but it's a sensitive matter. I'm sorry that you feel like your feelings are hurt, but I have to live my own life.
I know. I just thought you should have told me.
The theory was that you wouldn't be overly pleased to hear that news.
So this is the first time I think we've really seen a conflict between Debbie and son. And we're seeing a very similar set of behaviors from Colt to Mom as Colt does to Larissa, which makes sense. It's it feels dismissing to me. It's somewhat healthy in that he's like, I get that you're hurt, but we thought this. Instead of really looking her in the eyes and saying, Mom, I'm sorry. And I get it that you're upset, and I love you, and I don't know what to say. I'm just really sorry. I don't know if we made the right choice, but we made the choice because of these reasons. But bottom line, I'm sorry that we just didn't tell you, and I get it that you're sad. And frankly, I'm worried about you. Just really having that level of empathy. Let's rewind it again, but let's watch Colt's reaction. It's a little empathetic, but also kind of aloof. And it gives this vibe of discounting people, that their feelings don't really matter, that he's sort of above it all, that their pesky little emotions don't make any sense. I don't know, but I'm just guessing that Larissa and Debbie feel that from Colt. Now, if we were to go back into the past, why did Colt develop that? Maybe his dad was like that. Maybe his dad treated Debbie like that. Maybe that's another reason why Debbie feels like she doesn't deserve love and that she's worthless, because the father, Colt's father, treated her like that. Because Debbie's father treated her like that, and Debbie sought out a man who would treat her like that. There's total speculation, but it just opens up a lot of hypotheses worthy of exploration there. So let's rewind it. Let's take note of Colt's demeanor as he talks to his mom.
Thought you should have told me.
The theory was that you wouldn't be overly pleased to hear that news. We wanted to just introduce Larissa first, and then everyone got along, and then we said, oh, hey, by the way.
So what's going to happen?
Nothing's changed, really. Our kids are still in Brazil, so it's not something that we talk about a lot.
So the other thing we're seeing here is that the mom is clearly having a lot of emotion and she's really clamping down. You get that sense that she's really clamping down on her emotions of just like, okay, I'm being discounted. I'm just speculating here. I'm being discounted. I'm being explained to, and I'm being sunsplained to. And I'm gonna clamp down and ask a practical question. Okay, what does the future hold? When I think a better way of doing this is, mom has a lot of sadness and she deserves to feel that. And Colt could be there for her and just, Mom, let's hug. I'm sorry. I love you. I want to be there for you. I worry about you. And then Debbie could say, I love you too. Thank you. I clearly need a life outside of you. Let's put that on the agenda, or I'm going to put that on the agenda. I'm going to reach out to my church or people or whoever. I'm going to try to develop a community for myself so I don't depend on you as much because you're clearly transitioning to a wife and children. But I don't see that. I see a lot of suppression of emotion. I see a lot of barriers. I see a lot of diminishing of feelings, and it makes me sad, really.
To my knowledge, I'm not. They're not living with Larissa and I, so eventually, if she decides and I decide that we want her daughter to live with us, then we can bring it over. Larissa mentioned bringing her children to the United States. The option doesn't exist, but at this point, I don't want Larissa to bring any children from Brazil to America. We need to figure out our marriage first.
All right, interesting. So that can be taken a few different ways. Two dominant ways that occur to me is a very nefarious message from him and attitude, which is, I don't want your kids, I don't like your kids, and I just want you, and we have an arrangement where I give you money for face alteration, and you give me sex, and I don't want kids around. Okay, there's that end of the spectrum. Hopefully it's not that. The other thing that occurs to me that he might be saying is, I absolutely want to be involved in the kid's life, but I want to make sure that me and Larissa are actually good together, because there's a chance that we're not good together. And if that's the case, then I should get a divorce, and Larissa should go back home, or Larissa should get involved with another man who can be the stepfather. I don't want to get involved with the kids until I know for sure that me and Larissa are going to work out. I don't know. Let's see if we can figure out which one it was or some other option. All right, well, that does it. If you haven't subscribed, that would be cool. If you haven't thumbs up or thumbs down, depending on your mood or thoughts about this. Also, hit the bell if you want to be notified about things. Sometimes we do live shows, and if you do the bell, then you get notified right away. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.